All right, welcome everyone to our webcast. It feels like we just did one of these.
It does.
It's good though. We have so much to share. We've got some new hardware today, so hopefully we'll stay crisp, high definition the entire time. We're even going to be in picture-in-picture. But welcome to our Logic Apps Live webcast. I would say monthly webcast. This is actually the second one we've done in June.
Yeah.
We'll probably be doing one in about 3 more weeks from now. So you get a lot of us. But I'm Jeff Holland, a program manager for Microsoft Integration focused on Logic Apps. And we're very excited to be joined today by
John Fancy, program manager. I'm working across, as you've noticed, if you've been following some of our Twitter stuff the last couple of days, Bissell Server 2016 and Logic Apps, the enterprise integration features.
Yep, that's right. So he's got some cool stuff that we've just rolled out late last night that we're going to show you and walk through and go through today, as well as general updates from the service, and always happy to answer any questions. Probably the best way to ask questions is through Twitter or email. If you want to go ahead and tweet us at this point at logicappsio, or send us an email to logicappsemail@microsoft.com. We'll monitor both of those. But excited to have everyone here. Just as a heads up, if you missed last week, I actually did a solo broadcast on getting started with Logic Apps. So you can check that out, as well as we have previous webcasts. But we can go ahead and get started. So we've got some new tech going on today. I'm going to go ahead and just switch to John's monitor, which now everyone should see, and you should still be able to see us down here in the corner, which is the massive improvement. So what a time to be alive. Okay, all right. So we'll go ahead and get started with the webcast. The first bit is just what's new. So the biggest one, I won't go too much into this. I don't want to steal John's thunder, is the Enterprise Integration Pack public preview, which rolled out yesterday.
Yep.
Lots of exciting features with that. Last week, we rolled out the new April 2016 schema publicly. So you can upgrade any of the apps you have now inside of the portal. You'll see a little upgrade button if you're not using the current schema on the Blade in Azure. You can also use some of our new functionality like scopes and for each and conditions.
And my favorite feature, you can now rename the actual designer, which is just
That's right. Finally, you can rename.
It's great.
Azure Alerts for Logic Apps. This just went out about 2 days ago. So you can configure alerts on your Logic Apps to say something like, if I have more than 3 Logic App failures within a certain time period, I need you to send me an alert. That alert could even trigger a Logic App if you wanted to. We have a few quick start templates to help you do that. So you could say, send me a text message or send me an email if anything's ever going wrong with my Logic App. So that hooks in directly through some of that diagnostics and telemetry that we've gone over before. This is a big one we actually wanted to share. It's not necessarily a feature that we have done, but previously, if you were connecting to a service that used Azure Active Directory, so things like Dynamics CRM, Office 365, anything that had you log in with a Microsoft org ID, before they would only last, the tokens that we got for them would only last for up to 90 days, which means that every 90 days you had to make sure that you were being diligent at rolling your tokens. They have since changed their policy. They're still following OAuth. I can share some more documentation if anyone has questions. So we still have to follow refresh tokens, and you can still revoke the tokens. But these tokens won't expire as long as they're active. So what this means is that you can create a connector to an Azure Active Directory service, and you can trust that that's going to continue to run. You don't have to worry about it expiring and your connections stop working. So that was an update from the Azure Active Directory team that we wanted to share as it impacts Logic Apps users as well. So that's an exciting update. John mentioned this. You can now rename actions. We've got a spiffier menu now for it. Yeah, now I'm going to steal your thunder. Yeah. And you can do XML transform.
I just couldn't wait. It's just such an exciting new feature. We just have to let people know immediately.
It was in coming features last month, or I guess a few weeks ago. But you can set certain properties to be tracked properties. So what this means as part of the Azure diagnostics is in your definition, you can say, hey, I want to track the inputs and the outputs to this specific action and have that be emitted as part of the diagnostics data. So that if you're monitoring that diagnostics data, you could keep track of things within your flow. Maybe you have customer IDs or order IDs or other GUIDs or components you want to be able to track. Track properties lets you do that as part of our new schema.
Yeah, and we use that pretty extensively with the instrumentation of the enterprise integration features that I'm going to be showing you in a minute. That all of the pieces, when you think about managing EDI workloads, we emit all the track properties so that you can push that to an endpoint, and then create a manageable view over the top of that data. And there's lots to talk about coming in the future, but these features now let you track a whole bunch of stuff out of Logic App.
That's right, and a lot coming on this too, like you mentioned. Okay, so that's all the big updates for what's new. But again, since we did one of these 3 weeks ago and we already had that big of a list, not bad. In progress, templates. This is a big one that should be coming. It's getting finalized and reviewed right now. So this is coming imminently. So that when you create a new Logic App, you have a template experience. You can use those templates to understand how different patterns work in Logic Apps, get started quickly. This is something we're really excited to be bringing very soon. Visual Studio integration, we're still working on. It's making good progress. That will be coming in the next few weeks, the preview form of the Visual Studio integration, so that you can create Logic Apps right within Visual Studio, deploy them just as you would other Azure resources, all that good stuff. On-premises connectivity for managed APIs is still something in progress, and we hope to be able to share more news on that shortly as well. Parallels, this has made huge leaps and bounds. I know this has been on our list, but this has actually been really complicated. Like, this has taken some very impressive thinking to make it so that all of these different patterns that you could have, where you can have all these branches and different joins, making sure that we render them cleanly, that we show what we can. The first iteration of this should be going out very soon. We were just going over a design review yesterday. I think you'll be really excited about this, the ability that for those of you who've been using Logic Apps a little bit longer, you've kind of taken off the training wheels, you have some parallel branches, that will start showing up very nicely shortly. And we're also doing a lot of work just to make sure that whenever you load the designer, we will always save it in the same way it's loaded, as long as you don't change something, right? And then the changes will be saved. So this is something that's just been checked in. We've done some big changes in how the designer works to make sure that anyone who's hit any hiccups with things changing, that won't happen anymore. That's it for my stuff, and I'm going to kind of turn it over now to John to share some of the exciting news that we've done with this Enterprise Integration Pack.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So I'm not going to draw up the slides in the same kind of, keep you on the edge of a cliff for the next few minutes. So if you didn't see it last night, on our blog, I posted the details about the Enterprise Integration Pack preview. This is now public, so you can just go straight to portal.azure.com and either sign up if you don't already have an account, or take your existing subscription and start creating artifacts. So what did we add? The main thing that really holds us all together that we've created is this thing called an integration account. I'm going to show this in a minute. But what this is it's a container to hold the various artifacts that you need when you're doing more complex kind of business-to-business type interactions. So when you're dealing with having to transform formats from one to another, whether it's flat file to XML, or just XML to XML, and doing transformation, you can put the schemas and the maps necessary to manage this in the integration account. You can also, for business-to-business, create trading partners and create all that in the portal itself. And they are stored in the integration account along with the agreements between trading partners. So you have a full management experience now in the Ibiza portal. And then, of course, if you're dealing with things like AS2, where you're signing and encrypting messages, and you need certificates, and we provide certificate integration into the integration account, as well as including integration with Key Vault to ensure that private keys for your certs are protected as well. We provide all that interaction and management for you too. So the really gold around ease of use, easy to get started, easy to create, easy to manage this integration account, the artifacts in it. Right now, you can do it through the portal. You can do it through REST APIs, full ARM-based resource, so you can just interact with it in the usual way. And of course, it's secure, scalable, and manageable. So that's it for the integration account. Then we have a bunch of these business-to-business features that were added last night as well. So right now we have AS2 and X12 for doing EDI payloads. Then we have the flat file encode and decode in the designer, the ability to go to and from flat file formats to XML and back again. We have the ability to, once you've got XML, and you can work with XML using the great functions that we have available in the Logic Apps language as well. But if you want to use a graphical designer, we're providing a Visual Studio download to give you the mapping capabilities, the XSD editing capabilities for schema, so you can quickly and easily create XSLT maps, put them in your integration account, and then consume them from a Logic App. So very quickly and easily, create a very powerful integration solution where you can do full transformation, which is compatible with BizTalk's XSLT format as well, transformation, so you get the built-in functoid support as well that you had in BizTalk, so you can really do some really cool stuff with this, as well as taking existing maps if you already have them forward and put them into Logic Apps as well and run them there. There's a couple of steps you have to go through to set that up right now. I'm going to talk about documentation as well. Of course, you need to be able to validate XML, and this is kind of built into the way the control flow works in Logic Apps, so that you have a validate step, and then you can react to that using a condition to continue if the validation failed. Otherwise, you can just skip through the steps if you don't want to continue processing. So you kind of get full control over how XML validation affects the processing of Logic App. And then, as I mentioned, you've got the trading partner management experience as well, which is a dramatic step forward from where we were with the early preview stuff that we had. You now have Blaze built into the Ibiza portal. You can create, manage, edit agreements, trading partners, all within that portal, and all contained within the integration account. Before I move on, I'll talk about some of the things that Jeff just did around what's kind of coming next. As you can see, we're really trying to push this stuff out a really regular cadence now. Jeff mentioned templates. A couple of templates we're working on, because obviously there's quite a few moving pieces when you look at this B2B and XML processing kind of pipelines, is to write templates for those to help you get really quickly started. So we're working on those right now. So when the templates feature lands, we're going to have a bunch of templates, and particularly a couple around EDI workflows as well. So you kind of get a pre-configured experience, and you can create templates to do X12 and AS2, get you started really, really fast. So you can see how to flow data in and out of your Logic App using those protocols. Some other things we're adding, we have metadata support coming for the integration accounts. So, we obviously hold all the artifacts I mentioned, but you'll also be able to add metadata to those. If you want to augment the trading partner with additional information, you'll be able to do that, whether it's a simple name value pair or whether you want to put a JSON object on that and put a more complex structure, you'll be able to do that. And then you'll also be able to, coming later after that, you'll be able to pull this out and obviously work with it in the Logic App as well. So you'll be able to essentially use it as a configuration on top of the artifacts that we have, and then pull that data out and use that as part of the processing of Logic App control flow, whatever. Tracking capabilities, Jeff mentioned, this is really cool stuff, and there's just lots more to say on this as we make more progress over the coming weeks and months. The EDI components make heavy use of the tracking capabilities we have. If you're familiar with these protocols, you'll know that you need to deal with kind of MDNs and failed messages and everything else, and you really need to understand the entire state of that workflow. So that you can determine which messages failed, which messages succeeded, be able to push that to some kind of managing solution, and be able to see what's going on and provide visibility over that. So we're emitting all of this data that we process through these components today. And we'll be talking later about the best way to consume this, how to set up monitoring, management, and alerting around all of this stuff as well going forward. But it's all kind of being built into the base kind of capabilities now, and you'll see this stuff if you actually create a definition, use the templates, and look at what we're actually doing. You'll be able to see all this data that we're collecting as well, on top of the standard Logic Apps run data as well, which is really rich, and you'll be able to see the full history of that Logic App run as well, and all the great data that goes with that. What else? Other things we're doing today, the schema party resolution kind of happens automatically based on the data that goes through the steps. We're going to provide more flexibility to make the ability to be able to influence that and provide more control over how that process works. And then the final thing I'll call out, because it's a manual step right now. I think I mentioned in the previous webcast that we're basing our transformation capability on functions. I called it out because you'll see it today in the preview. By the time we get to GA with this, it'll all be hidden and we'll be automatically provisioning this stuff. But functions gives us a great sandbox environment to be able to, this is how we can run code, as part of that map. So the custom functoid support and everything else that becoming, is all enabled by relying on these containers that we incorporate as part of the Logic App. So today, you have to go through a couple of steps. You have to provision a function container and then reference that from the Logic App transform action. But when we get to GA, all that stuff will melt away when you see it. Around the documentation for this, we're still pushing this out. I think, what's the time now? I think, 11:15. So a lot of docs went live at 10 a.m. We'll be pushing stuff through the course of the day over the next couple of days. We're really trying to get some how-tos to show the full end-to-end flow, how you can build these things up, how you can play with this, including the kind of how you set up the functions so you can use transformation and upload your maps and try all the pieces out. So documentation should be there right now across kind of covering all the main pieces, but we know we would need to kind of add to the walkthroughs to help you guys get started as quickly and as easy as possible.
It's really cool. I mean, just thinking of some of those features, like if you just look at the feature list, that's an impressive set of features. But one of the things that's really exciting to me is that not only are these features possible, but they're being made possible in a way that they've never been possible before. Like these are Azure resources. We're not saying, hey, we have some standard, go create some storage account that you manage and figure out how to put these things in storage. Like these are all backed using kind of Azure resource principles. So you can deploy them, you can share them, you have access control, all that awesome stuff with encryption that comes with that. Being able to do these types of patterns in a platform as a service that's fully scalable, kind of set it and forget it. It's really impressive what the capabilities this starts to unlock.
Absolutely. We're really trying to remove the kind of just the stuff that you needed to get done to get the thing done that you wanted to get done, right? So anything that we can do for you, we're really trying to do for you automatically behind the scenes. So if you want more control over it, providing the APIs around that and all the rest of it, so you can do deployments and things. That's the other thing that I mentioned. The next drop of the Azure PowerShell API will include all of the PowerShell commanders to be able to manage all this stuff as well. So you interact with this in whatever way makes sense through the portal, nice and easy to get started. But if you want full control, especially when the Visual Studio stuff lands with the integration with Designer, you're really going to start to be able to see a very rich ALM and lifecycle management process using full power of Visual Studio and all the other tools that we have online to be able to kind of deploy this stuff, manage this stuff, and but as far as provisioning goes, we're trying to take care of that as much as we can. Okay, so I'm going to quickly skip through this and I'm going to go to a demo. So one of the common patterns, certainly for Beanstalk and Beanstalk services, and it's a common messaging pattern, is something called a better pipeline. This is where, especially for XML, where you're going to receive data and you want to do some validation on that, especially if it's XML, and that's where the schema validation component comes in. Then you're probably going to want to do some extraction or some enrichment of that. We provide the XVAL function today, where you can pull values out. But we also have this compose action, which lets you essentially create new messages in part of that pipeline. So you can work with the data, not just using the functions that we have in the language, but using some of the actions components that we have as well. Then we have transformation. I talked about that already, the ability to do maps, run XSLT, to change the shape of those messages, and again, to enrich those messages. That actually can take parameters now as well. So using the power of XSLT parameters, you can actually pass values into that, which is always something that was kind of tricky to do with Beanstalk, to allow you to access messaging context essentially as part of that map as well. Then again, the enrich or extract stage allows you to kind of add more data to that message before you route it. If we push it to something else, could be service plus topic with some subscriptions, or could be anything else. So these are all the kind of components. I think I've shown this before, so I'm just going to go through this super quickly. We can probably make this deck available somehow, so you can go through it at your leisure. But just be aware that all of these components now let you build these rich messaging pipeline patterns using Logic Apps, using the features that we released yesterday. Okay, right. Let's jump to the demo. Right. Okay. Awesome. That was good. That was an awesome transition.
I saw that one coming. I was really excited for it.
Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through some of the pieces that we've got. The first one here is the integration account. You can just create this really easy just by doing new integration account. If you just type it in here, you should see it. There it is, integration account. You create this thing. But I've obviously already got one of these things, so I can just close all this back down again. And when I open up this integration account, you can see the things that I talked about, the schemas, the maps, the certificates, the agreements, and the partners. And you can see I've got a bunch of stuff in there already, so I can just open up the schemas. I can see the schemas I've got created. I can look at the maps, and I can actually just open these up. They're all get rid of the survey thing here. You can actually just browse the files essentially and work with them as well. So as you can see, we've got full experience to kind of add, delete, update, and download this stuff. So you can, not just put it in, but you can kind of take it out again. You can refresh it and update it. The interesting stuff around partners is we have a very nice experience now in the console here, so the portal rather. So I can create a partner, and then I can set qualifiers on that. As I said, this has got extensible metadata behind this. So you can add your own stuff as well. Same for agreements. I can create an agreement for X12 or AS2. And again, edit those in the portal, or using PowerShell commands that are coming very soon as well, if you want to do that above command So once I've got this integration account, I can then do some stuff with it. So if I show you a Logic app that I've got here, this is an X12 pipeline. So I'm going to receive, this is over AS2, I'm going to receive it over HTTP. I'm going to decode it here, and these new actions that we've got. So decode that message that's coming over HTTP. And I have to make sure that I can kind of process the headers on that thing to deal with it correctly, as you can see here. Again, we're going to templatize this to really make it easy to set these things up, and then you can modify them as appropriate. Once we've decrypted it over AS2, we can then decode it with X12. And I'm just doing a couple of other things so you can see what's going on. I'm actually going to write the output of the various steps to blob storage. And I'm going to do a transformation on the XML that's output from that decode stage. So, you know, if I just quickly run this thing, you can see what's going. Actually, just before I do that, I then just off the bottom of the page, I've got a response. The response is going to send back the MDN, so that disposition notification of the AS2 flow, so that the caller knows, and I can do this synchronously or asynchronously, the caller knows that, you know, what the status of that is, and that I have actually received it. Okay. So if I go over here, now I've done this a few times, for those of you who are familiar with this, you'll know that I need to set unique values to make sure that it's not recognized as a duplicate. Again, I can kind of turn that stuff on and off when I create the partners and the agreements. But if I just fire this in using Postman, with any luck, I'm going to get a response back, and the response has got, you know, all the details, the message ID, the MDN, and everything else. And then if I go back and sort of look at the Logic app, I can see, because I was writing some stuff out of blob storage, if I just refresh this, I think they already appeared here. You can see, and I'll sort of show you that, you know, everything that we spit out of this thing, you'll be able to see the full amount of stuff that we're tracking with this. Yeah, so you see kind of the interchange control number, the good messages, bad messages. You can see I've got an array of good messages with this. I've had bad messages, I see that. And again, this is what gives you the full power of the tracking, but also the ability to kind of drill into this in the Logic app, use the great conditional scoping stuff and control flow that Jeff's talked about to be able to deal, you know, with good messages and bad messages, and the results of these steps as they run in the Logic app. So you can route things to one location for if things have gone bad, or continue with the Logic app processing if everything's okay. You know, you have a lot of power of control over this, and of course we have a lot of run data that we're pushing out as well as part of this track properties feature. Okay. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything, Jeff?
Oh, that was good. Honestly, I loved how fast it was too.
So let's just flip back to the deck. So I think before, you know, we shared links with folks, you know, you can just go straight to paul.azure.com. This stuff's all live. No need to use these AKMS links anymore. Everything's there. You can just access it, play with it. As I said, if you don't already have, you know, an Azure subscription, just sign up and play with it. You know, you don't have to pay anything, just to try these things out. And of course, you know, send us feedback. You know, we really hope you guys will find this a significant improvement and in capabilities that we have a Logic app. So please just let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's very cool stuff. Definitely worth trying out. As I said, the docs. Do we have a link to the docs in the deck, or what's the best place for them to find that?
So there should be
a blog post.
Because we've been in here, I haven't checked. They should be on ACOM. So azure.com should be on there right now. So we've added a left nav bar under Logic Apps. So you should just be able to use your favorite search engine to find this stuff. I actually put out on the blog post last night, if you can't find the docs, there's a link to it on there as well. So as well as the downloads for the Visual Studio 2015 tools that let you create the maps and schemas as well. So,
that's right.
So,
yeah. Oh yeah, and I did want to mention that, and you mentioned it as well. While the Visual Studio stuff for creating a Logic app isn't quite live yet, the Visual Studio stuff for doing these schemas and maps, that's ready to go.
Yeah.
So we do have a link to the blob, and as John mentioned, if you're at azure.com and you say documentation, web, mobile, Logic apps, you'll see the left nav. Hopefully by the time we're saying this there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. So let's go over some of this other stuff. We went over this 3 weeks ago, but definitely want to plug this again. The Microsoft Worldwide Partner Conference is coming up very soon. We are excited that Kevin from our team gets to go and attend and meet with partners and present some information and roadmap details around Logic apps and where it is and where it's going and all those fun things. We hope that some of you are able to attend, and if you are, and if you have not already, please send Kevin an email and let him know that you will be going, so that he knows you're there and he can take time out to go and chat with you and talk to you more about Microsoft integration, BizTalk, Logic apps, all that great stuff. He's got a lot of fun stuff to share. I've been working with him on some of the content there'll be some good stuff coming at WPC for sure. And then the last slide that we'll just plug before we see if there's any questions. I've been monitoring Twitter. We've been okay. We've got a good few amount of live viewers, though. This is good. So we need to do these more frequently. It's because I think I told people on Twitter that John was attending, and they're like, that's good. Class it up a bit.
Okay. I won't turn up next time now.
Yeah. That's fine. All right. So if you need to reach out to us, we have many ways to do it. And here's the list we love to plug. And we love to get feedback. So the link to our blog, as John mentioned, there's a post from last night that goes into detail on the integration pack. It links to docs. It tells you how to log in and all that fun stuff. aka.ms/logicappsblog. We have user voice. We've got a BizTalk blog. Still encourage you, if you have not, to check out the content from Integrate 2016. Those videos are constantly being updated. They've updated a few in the last few weeks with some of the MVPs and partners who also presented content across BizTalk and Logic Apps and other technology as well. So definitely worth looking at if you're interested in the space, to seeing some of the current trends and where things are headed. We have a Yammer group, an internal Yammer group that we'd love to invite you to if you're not already a member. And you can apply to join that Yammer group by going to aka.ms/Azure Advisors. And finally, we have a newsletter, and if you want to subscribe, you can go ahead and send an email.
Great. Yeah. And
we have a special guest appearance now. We have a cameo from our own Jim Hare, who gave the keynote at Integrate. Are you just here to plug your own keynote?
No,
Is that what you came for?
No. I thought, since we have such a great audience here, I thought I would give some breaking news.
Oh,
is that okay?
I don't even know what this is.
Okay,
I'm worried.
We give some breaking news
Sure.
here. So, as we talked about at Integrate 2016, one of the cool things about the new Microsoft strategy is to be, really one Microsoft, which is why we brought BizTalk and Logic Apps teams together. So as we develop our BizTalk strategy moving forward, we're also being very thoughtful about Logic Apps, and then as we're moving Logic Apps forward, we're thinking about BizTalk. And so. And you're seeing some of the benefits of all of that work and some of the great work that this team is doing. So on that spirit, I'm happy to announce that officially beginning July 1st, the API-M team is joining our Pro integration team.
That's right.
So what's really cool about that is you're going to start seeing our API management product starting to be very tightly coupled with Logic Apps, and as we really think about the whole enterprise scenario. So we're very happy to have Vladimir and Taylor and their team come into the Pro integration team as we really redefine what it means to have a Microsoft integration strategy and vision and a suite of products for you. So so as you can see, our momentum is really starting to pick up here, and so with that change, I think you're going to see even cooler stuff coming in the months ahead.
That's right. We're going to need to get a bigger room, because these next webcasts will have API management, BizTalk, Logic Apps, Service Bus, all the fun stuff going on.
Just on BizTalk, just before we go, I can't get excited enough about this as well. If you missed the announcement this week that went out the day before, it's been quite a week for us, that we pushed out BizTalk Server 2016 CDP 2 as well. So some of the great stuff, feedback from CDP 1, some things that are coming really soon. We're hoping the next week or so are the things that I demonstrated at Integrate 2016, which is around the Logic Apps connectivity from BizTalk Server. So the BizTalk Server adapter for 2016 will be coming really soon, so you'll be able to try all the stuff out that we've shown you before. But please, try BizTalk 2016, download the CDP2 bits. They're available on Azure and on IaaS image on both the old and new portal, so you can very quickly just spin up a VM, try it out. We're also going to the Eval Center, so you can just get it from there. If you're already signed up for Connect, you can still download it that way, but we want to provide you, an easy path as possible to kind of have a look at BizTalk 2016 and tell us what you think.
Perfect. Awesome.
Great. Hey, nice job.
Hey, we'll take
nice
it.
Job.
Hey, yeah, and thanks everyone for joining. I'm glad that people still join, even though we do these close. So we'll have to make time to do these closer together.
The only feedback I'll give you is, if he would have been wearing the same T-shirt as you were wearing,
it would have been. Kevin and I have done that before.
I know. Then it would be like you guys really stepped up.
Jeff threw me. You always put a shirt on for these things today, so I put a shirt on. You didn't.
Oh, that's right. I did it today. That's right. I had a late night last night, so I didn't. Anyway, okay. Thanks so much for joining. We hope to hear from you on Twitter and email, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Give us your feedback.
Yep, for sure.